Okay, so now that we've already talked about our product list, I am going to show you some technique. Basically what I've done so far is my brow is done, and I went in and used a little bit of my Studio Finish Concealer. This is NC15, and I went underneath my brow and highlighted that area, brought it all the way down to where the crease of my eye is. You can find your crease of your eye by touching where your eyeball is right there. At the very top of your eyeball is usually about where your crease is. That's where your eye naturally folds. So I brought it from underneath my brow all the way down to that area. Now I'm going to take my black pencil, something super soft, and you'll see why here in a second. And I'm going to go right along my lash line. It does not have to be neat because we are going to blend that out. And I just go right along my lash line there. See? And I'm going to take a clean finger and I am going to blend that all in so that you can't see a hard edge on it. This is where that smokiness is going to come from. And bring that all the way up to where the crease of your eye is. Don't bring it up very much farther than that, or it's going to be brought up too far and then it'll be hard to blend. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, because anything that is getting where you don't want it to be, we're going to go back in and clean that up. I'm going to go right underneath my eye and do the same technique. I put it right at my lash line, and then I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to go back and forth and blend that in. For you ladies that have oily eyes or oily eyelids, or gentlemen, anyone who has oily eyelids or creases throughout the day, their makeup creases throughout the day, you want to make sure that you're using something to prime your eye before any of these steps. One of my favorite products is a paint pot from MAC because it's acrylic based, so it doesn't allow your makeup to move throughout the day. It's going to help you keep your makeup on. Really, any primer that you love that helps is great. It doesn't have to be MAC. Okay, now that I have my basic shape of my smoky eye and I am all blended in, I am going to clean off my fingers real quick, and I'm also going to clean up a little bit of black that I got on the inside of my eye there. Okay, so now I want to go in and pat some black over the top here so that it's not creasing up on me, and so it's a little bit darker, well, a lot darker, as dark as you can possibly get it. Because like I said, if you can blend black out, you can do anything. Okay, so I'm using my 239 brush. This is my flat brush. Anytime I want a lot of color payoff, or I want to see a lot of color, I want to go in and pat color on. Now we're going to blend color out. So I'm going to use that 224 brush. And I'm going to use that color that I was talking about earlier. When you're choosing this transition color for yourself, you want to make sure that it is about 2 shades darker than your natural skin tone and a little bit warmer. So this one's a little peachier than my natural skin tone. I'm going to dip my brush in there, and I'm just getting it on the very end of my 224 here. I'm going to place it right here, right underneath the highest point of my brow. And I'm going to rock this back and forth. I'm not going to lift it up off my skin, and that is going to blend out that harsh black line of where we stopped. You can do this with any color. I love creating smoky eyes with a lot of different colors, but my transition color always stays the same pretty much. So if I were doing this with a darker brown, I would just put my brown eyeliner on, put my desired shade of brown shadow over top of it, and then I'd go back in with my transition color and do the same technique. Now that it's helping me blend that out, I'm going to take my smaller blending brush, I'm going to dip that into my black, and I'm going to take my crease color up, my black crease color, just a little bit more into my transition color, and I'm going to do this dance back and forth with the transition color and that darker color just until I get the desired amount of blending. And I'm doing little baby circles and rocking it back and forth, and it's actually blending pretty well for me right now, which is awesome. So I'm going to just go back in without anything on this brush, and I'm going to make sure that everything is super seamless, super blended. Great. Now I'm going to take my flat brush again, and I'm going to go in with my wild card, my Stars and Rockets. And again, I'm going to pat this color on because I want to see a lot of that color payoff. It's crazy how this color actually looks in the pan, and then when you put it on, it takes on a whole other life of its own, and it's just this really beautiful, intense neon pop of color. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the corner of my eye and just bring that right underneath using that same brush. Perfect. I need to add a little bit of definition into the lower. Be very kind, or into the waterline, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Into the lower. That didn't make sense. Okay, into my waterline on the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit of definition. Now, a smoky eye, the darkness is going to minimize the shape of your eye. However, it will draw a lot of attention to your eye color itself. And you can use a white pencil or a cream colored pencil in there if you want to open your eye up a little bit more. But today I'm going super intense and I'm doing black. And now I'm going to touch up my lashes. I'm going to get in there and wiggle it at the base of my lashes and pull it out in the same direction I want my lash to be. Same thing on the bottom. Perfect. And I'm going to do one last finishing touch. My last finishing touch is I'm going to add my lashes back on. So I'm going to do a tutorial for you guys later on, probably in a few days or so, about more specifics on how to place lashes. So I am not going to go too in depth with this. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of my adhesive onto the back of my lash, just a tiny bit. And I like Duo adhesive. It's latex based, so when it dries down, it moves with my skin. It doesn't feel stiff or sticky, and it's really easy to wear. Now, when I first put it on, it's white, but then it dries down clear. And I'm just giving that a little bit of time to get tacky, so I'm waving my arm around like a crazy person. And what I'm going to do once that finally gets tacky is I'm going to start on the outside edge of my eye. I'm going to line it up with where the lashes naturally stop growing, and I'm going to work my way into my inner corner of my eye. And like I said, I'm going to do a more formal tutorial on that later on this week for you, so that you can really understand how that works. And I just pop that on there, and I'm going to let that adhesive dry down because, like I said, it starts out white but then it dries down clear. But that concludes our tutorial for today, and I really want to send a shout out to my mom, because my mom is always asking me about how to do a smoky eye and how to put on lashes. So I hope this helps you out, Mom. I love you. And I hope this helps you guys out. Please let me know if you have any questions. Put them down below in the comments. I will definitely answer them for you. And if you are on Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, or any of those fun things that we do, then please stop by and drop me a line. I have all my information down below. Please subscribe and comment if you love what I did, and hopefully I will see you next time. Thanks.